tackle the tough issues. Other people are scared to talk about this.
You don't know what you're doing.
Really? I mean, really? You had to take it there?
And now, here's the host of Real Talk Junkies.
Hey, what's good, everybody? You know what time it is. Your boy, Jeffrey L. Boney, for another hot edition of Real Talk Junkies Live. Man, I'm so excited to have you join us on today. Make sure you share the link with your friends, your family, your foes, your enemies. It doesn't matter. Everybody needs to check out the link on today. We got another amazing show with another amazing guest. And I want to encourage everybody, of course, to check out the Forward Times website, forwardtimes.com, to go check out the latest news for and about the African-American community. And of course, I also want you to engage with your boy, Jeffrey L. Boney, at jeffreylboney.com. Pick up the latest book, Don't Argue With Me, a no-nonsense approach to the issues in the Black community. Speaking of authors and books, man, I have someone joining me today who is a recently penned author who just published his first book, man, and it's catching on. It's caught on like wildfire, man. A lot of people talking about it, and I definitely wanted to have him on the show today because he's actually written a book about something that I know a little something about. And some of y'all have been victims of mine. I'm talking about dominoes. I'm talking about my main man, William Chill Will Hildreth, man. Come welcome into Real Talk Junkies, y'all. What's good, man? How you doing today?
Doing good.
All right. Welcome to Real Talk Junkies, man. So talk to your boy, man. So tell me, you wrote this book. What is it called?
The Game of Life.
The Game of Life. What is that about, man? Tell me.
Man, dominoes is in my blood.
Okay.
You know, from a grandfather, from a great aunt, in my blood, man. And you know, I play dominoes a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and man, God gave me this revelation, man, how life, you know what I'm saying, is like the game of dominoes. When he gave me that revelation, man, I'm very passionate about writing, you know, so I had to put in the book, man. I had to put in the book, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into the book and some of the details in the book, but let's talk about, I always like to give the RTJs an opportunity to find out about the guests that we have on the show. So everybody has a story, a life story, and a past or whatever. So before becoming soon to be, New York Times bestselling author, tell me, who is William Chill Will Hildreth?
Yes, man. That's a very good question, because I tell people what you do and who you are is two different things. You know, I am a man of God. I am a student of the word. You know, I am a enterprising person. You know, I'm a go-getter. You know, I'm a redeemed hoodlum. I come from the streets. You know, I was raised in a church, you know, raised in a godly home by my mother and grandmother. My father died when I was 6 years old. You know, he lived a street life. And his bad decisions growing up caused a generational curse to come down on me. So for years, I was living under a generational curse, you know, and I just thank God that was my mother and grandmother prayers, you know, watched over me. You know, I came close to death several times. And it's only by the grace of God that I'm still alive today.
Well, I want to go a little bit deeper if we can.
Yes.
On that, you know, you say you are a redeemed hoodlum.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's talk about if you can, because I mean, it's made you who you are today.
Yes.
I mean, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, absolutely.
We all have a story.
Yes.
And I've shared with the RTJs. They know a little bit about my past, but at the end of the day, you know, they see the suits and the council member and the this and the Forward Times, but they don't understand that I haven't always been Jeffrey L. Boney council member, or Jeffrey L. Boney, the editor of a newspaper, or Jeffrey L. Boney banker.
Yes.
You know, I too am a redeemed hoodlum.
Yes, absolutely.
By the grace of God. But at the end of the day, going back to your life, you talked about a generational curse.
Yes.
And of course, you didn't know at the time you were under a so-called generational curse. talk about your upbringing a little bit more if you can, because I think that, you know, that will help us better understand this game of life, dominoes, and how it's tied to dominoes.
Yes, man. Growing up, man, I always felt different growing up, you know, like something was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at my brother. My brother loved doing right,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason, I enjoyed doing wrong. Didn't know. So I guess around about 20, when I was about 21 years old. Yes, it was 21 years old, man. God allowed a cop to arrest me.
Mm-hmm.
This cop set me down and he told me, he said, man, I knew your father. He said, your father was cursed, you curse, and your son gonna be cursed too if you don't change your life.
Mm.
Man,
Now, how did you take that?
man, I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I was in a car accident. One of my partners, man, we still close today. You know, we call him Q Dog. We still close today. He was driving. We leaving the streets late one night. He's upset about something. Jumped the high railroad tracks. Crushed both of my ankles. You know, I couldn't walk for over a year on my own. Plastic surgery over my face. The doctors say my chances of walking was slim to none. So,
And this is before the arrest.
before the arrest,
About how old were you about that?
I was 16 years old. I had my 17th birthday in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
laid up. You know, pastor of the church came to the hospital praying for me. You know, and he explained to me, hey, Satan tried to kill you. You know, I said, okay. Really didn't bother me. I said, okay. You know, so went to church. You know, he was a pastor of the church, went to church. One Sunday, I'm in church, I'm in a wheelchair, can't walk. I heard the voice of God. A lot of people do not know this. I heard the voice of God say, surrender your life to me. I said, okay. The person that was sitting close to me was named Charlie Taylor. And I was about to tell him, push me up to the altar. I heard another voice say, don't go. And I listened to that voice. I didn't go. I didn't surrender my life. At the age of 17, that's when I was called. 5 or 10 minutes later inside church, the pastor stood up and stopped service. He said, God just spoke to me. He said, he revealed to me that he called someone today to surrender their life to him. And that person refused to do it. So I'm going to give that person an opportunity to come to the altar and accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. I'm trembling because I know he's talking about me. But I'm trying to keep cool because I don't want people looking at me knowing it's me. You know,
Right.
you know, because for some reason, I want to obey the second voice instead of the first one. So to make a long story short, I did not go. From the time God called me at the age of 17 to 21, I went to jail over 13 times.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I tried worked. As soon as I felt like I was getting over the hump, I got arrested. During those 3.5 years, man, I was smoking probably over an ounce of weed a day, smoking PCP. I was just out there bad. And went back to the street life, gang banging, things like that, you know, using my cane as a weapon, because I had to start all over. I had to walk on a cane, you know, so it just got really, really bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most people would think that, okay, this, what God allowed to happen to you is going to wake you up. But what I did was I pushed the snooze button.
Mhm.
And like I said, it's only by the grace of God that I'm alive today. God knew what was going to get my attention. I suffered growing up, man, because I was a fatherless child. It bothered me.
Well, I'm glad you segue into this, because I was going to ask you, do you have any recollection or memories of your father's relationship to you or with you between birth and 6 years old when he passed?
No, the only thing I remember about my father, I saw him, and it hurt me even to the day when I think about it. I saw him, he got angry at my brother and started, whipping my brother very aggressively, and that bothered me. But I do not have no memories of my father doing me wrong.
Mhm.
You know, me and my mother, have a great relationship now, but growing up, it was very bitter. I was angry. I wanted my father.
Mhm.
You know, and God knew that. And,
When did that begin, though? I mean, that bitterness, that lashing out, that I'm assuming that you were acting out.
yes, I was acting out. A lot of people do not know what the word iniquity means. You know what I'm saying? And because of my father's disobedience, his iniquities was passed down to me. So it didn't matter how many times my mother whooped me. You know what I'm saying? It was just in me to continue to do wrong. So I started making bad grades. And my mom, prior to that, my mom used to spoil me rotten. And I started making bad grades, man. And my mom took that away from me. The nice clothes and things like that. And that's when I went to the street life.
Mm-hmm.
My mind said, okay, if you want to stop buying me clothes, nice clothes, things I want, I'm going to go get it my way.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea that the life that I chose to live was the same life my father lived before he passed away. Did not know that, because a lot of things that I learned about my father, I learned from people who he kicked it with.
Not your mom.
Not my mom, and I don't hold her against that, since she was protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
She thought what she was doing was the best,
Mm-hmm.
So at the age of 21, when I got arrested, God got my attention, about this generational curse. When he allowed this cop, the same cop that busted me, busted my father when he was selling.
Mm.
Yes. So it's not a coincidence that God used allowed this same officer to come into my life. And that bothered me big time. So once I, went to jail, bonded out, I went to the streets of where my father grew up at, started asking about my father. And they was telling me all these things about him. Like, man, I'm living the same type of life. During that time, God put it in Pastor Elder A.C. Lewis, he's deceased now, heart to start calling my grandmother. The same pastor that God used to stand up inside the church and stop the service. The same pastor that came to see me when I couldn't walk. Start calling my house. My grandma out the blue looking for me. I go home. My grandma will tell me, Elder Lewis is calling looking for you. You need to call him. I said, no, I ain't gonna call him.
Why? Why you didn't want to call?
Man, I was afraid. And I think a lot of people remain stuck in a certain lifestyle because they're afraid of change.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid. I wasn't ready yet. Although I needed to change, just wasn't ready. But once I hit rock bottom, I said, you know what? I'm ready to go see him. So I called him back He didn't answer. I left a message on his answer machine. So the church that I grew up at was down the street from Elder Lewis' house. I said, Mom, on your way to Bible study, I need for you to drop me off at Elder Lewis' house. You know.
Now, why were you at a different place mentally about connecting with him? Because at first you say you were scared.
I was scared.
Fearful, you ain't want to really have nothing to do with him, but now a shift.
Yes. Man, I saw my life, man, going under.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing things now in the game that, you know, I was opposed to. You know what I'm saying? I felt like, you know, if you operate in integrity in the game would be true to you, you know. So I started doing things, man, outside of my character. And nothing was working for me, nothing. And I just felt like I was in the rope. It was time.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that. So on the way to Houston, we turned onto the street that he lived on. And he was standing outside waiting for me.
Mm.
I said, Mom, I'm going to Elder Lewis. Can you drop me off? I got out the car. Before I entered his house, I said, Elder Lewis, do you remember whenever about 3.5 years ago, you stood up and stopped the service and said, God, call somebody? I said, do you remember that? He said, yes, I remember that. I said, that person was me.
Mm.
He like, I had no idea. So all I know is God told me to find you, to get in contact with you. I don't know what's going on. I'm just being obedient. So from that day forward, he became my spiritual father. He taught me the word. I surrendered my life under Elder A.C. Lewis' teachings. I mean, he taught me the word from Genesis to Revelation. I'm in his house. In his house. We talking for hours in the word, on the phone daily. Mm-hmm. So that's how I became a student of the word, mm-hmm. through his teachings.
Mm-hmm. So let's segue back into, you mentioned the game.
Yes.
And being a part of the game.
Yes.
And there's a few more questions that I really want to kind of delve into with that. But the game of life, this
Yes.
book.
Yes.
So how does what you went through as a child and getting arrested and being a redeemed hoodlum, how is that connected to the game of dominoes? Make it make sense.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you asked that question. I talk about in the beginning of the book how me and my brother used to always play dominoes together. Mm-hmm. Man, he used to do me bad. You know, talk trash to me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my brother, man, he was good in everything my brother touched, he was good at. Uh-huh. You know. So that used to bother me, you know. So, you know, but I always enjoyed playing. Dominoes is a fun game to play, mm-hmm. you know. So one day I went to my grandfather's house. I heard he was good. Mm-hmm. And I saw all his domino trophies. Uh-huh. From that moment, I said, you know what? I'm finna take dominoes seriously.
Yeah.
You know, because I dropped out of school, man. Mm-hmm. Dropped out of school. And when I saw those trophies, man, yeah, high school. When I saw those trophies, man, just, you know, I felt like, man, I can achieve that.
Yeah.
I can get me a trophy too. You know, so that's when I started taking dominoes seriously. And God gave me this revelation that many of us enjoy life. We enjoy life. We think life is fun, but only a few of us take it seriously. And that's what happened to me. Growing up, life was fun, you know. Getting drunk, getting high was fun. But I did not take life seriously because of the decisions I was making. You know, the game banging, you know what I'm saying? Just taking chances with our life, you know what I'm saying? So God gave me this revelation, man, you know. And one of the reasons why I didn't take life seriously because there was an opponent. I had an opponent and didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. I had an opponent that was trying to take me out. I had an opponent that was putting out traps in life, and I was following those traps. And I was talking to someone about an opponent. They're like, man, what is an opponent? I said, whether you are saved or not, it doesn't matter what religion you are. You can be a Christian, you can be a Muslim. You have an opponent. And that opponent is Satan. You know? So just like in dominoes, when you playing, you know, me, you done played several times, regardless of our relationship, you know, it's your goal, you know what I'm saying? Your main objective is to stop me from doing what I want to do. If I want a domino, it's your job to try to stop. You're going to come against that. You know what I'm saying? Not only are you going to come against that, you know, you're going to tempt me, you know what I'm saying, to score points that you know is going to put me in a bad situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where that slogan come from. Not all money is good money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was talking about that last night. Not all money is good money. You know what I'm saying? Not just in dominoes.
Right.
I tell people, don't be that person that do not take trap money in dominoes, but you're willing to take trap money in life. Don't be that person. You know what I'm saying? When your opponent try to set you up in dominoes, you know what I'm saying? When he deceiving you, you know, he wants you to think he has big 5 or big 6. He cock his hand up. He's deceiving you. You know what I'm saying? Don't fall for it. You know what I'm saying? So in life, our opponent have the same characteristics, same personality. He's going to deceive you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's one of the main reasons why the jailhouse today is filled. Deception. If he can make you think that you can do wrong and nothing is going to happen, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
It's all about what we believe. You know, I talk about it in chapter 1, and the reason why, you know, Eve bit from the forbidden tree because of her belief system. You know, she thought what the enemy was selling her, what was presented to her, was true. You know, and that's what's going on today.
So what were you presented? What traps was being set for you going back to the game of your life? What traps did you look at that you were being deceived with, that you know, bit the forbidden fruit and said, you know what, this is what I need to do. This is the right thing. You mentioned about, you know, having a passion to get a trophy on dominoes, but what about, you know, you said you were gang banging, you was selling dope, you was out here in these streets, you was smoking PCP and an ounce or so of weed a day or whatever. What is it that led you down that path of wanting to do those things?
Man, I'm glad you asked that question. Man, I was very good in sports in junior high, very good. Got to high school, man, and high school is totally different from junior high. You know, I was exposed to a lot of things, you know, women and things like that, man. So instead of doing my homework, I'm on the phone. So when it's time to turn in your homework, I don't have any homework to turn in. So I'm getting F's, you know. I flunked. A lot of people don't know this, but I flunked the 9th grade. Okay. The following year, I got kicked out of school. For fighting. So my 3rd year in high school, I had my car accident. So high school was pretty rough for me. You know, I didn't like to study. You know, I wanted everything to be easy. So kept on trying to pass different tests, man, and it's challenging because I don't want to study. Some people can wake up in the morning, take a test, and pass. Me, I had to work hard.
Right.
You know, and I didn't want that.
Right.
I want everything easy. So the enemy, you know, gave me this pipe vision, pipe dream, you know, like, hey, you done failed the 9th grade. You done got kicked out of school the following year. Your 3rd year, you know, had his car accident. Why not drop out and sell drugs? So I started entertaining that thought. Like, man, I don't need no high school diploma to become a big-time drug dealer. I don't need no high school diploma to, you know, have a pocket full of money. So I dropped out. You know, he painted that picture. It's that picture. You know what I'm saying? If we meditate on ideas, a picture will start to develop. You know, so I started getting this mental picture of me having, you know, driving around in, you know, in the candy paint, nice clothes. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that picture was real. To the degree that every time I got busted for drugs, I got out and continued to pursue my dream. Because of that mental picture. But that mental picture was deception. He was deceiving me. And the whole time I didn't even know it. So once I found out that this was deception, that Satan is really not my friend. He's only going to use you to get what he wants, to do his work in the earth. You know, once I realized, man, I got snitched on and things like that, man. And once I realized that I couldn't win in this game, I realized I had to get out. I got out the game at an early age. You know, people talked about me and things like that. But, you know, I couldn't get over the hump. Just kept on going to jail. You know what I'm saying? And once I realized that I couldn't win, people continue to do wrong and sell drugs because they think they can. But once I realized that I couldn't, and I wanted to be there for my son, I didn't want my son to go through what I went through as a fatherless child. I had to give it up. I had to give it up. You know,
Was it easy?
It was easy once I realized, you know, I couldn't win. You know, I couldn't win.
But you know what, Jill? I mean, to your point, there's so many of us out here, man, that feel like that happened to them, that is not applicable to me. They feel, remember back in the day, Nicky Barnes was on the cover of, I want to say it was Time magazine.
Yes.
And he had on his chinchilla coat.
Yes.
And the headline or the caption was Mr. Untouchable.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what he referred to himself as.
Yes.
And it was on Time magazine, and it was at that time, I want to say it was George H.W. Bush or whomever that was Attorney General or whatever, and they was saying that they was gonna, or was it Jimmy Carter? I think it may have been Jimmy Carter was president. But anyway, they was like, you know what? He is touchable.
Yes.
And so
yes.
because now, instead of just being under the radar like Frank Lucas was, he didn't want to be flashy or whatever. And you saw the movie American Gangster, where he went to the boxing match, wearing the chinchilla with his woman, and that's when all eyes came on him, and his tower came crumbling down. I think a lot of us get in the game, get in this type of lifestyle, and feel like I'm untouchable. It can't happen to me. So it's interesting to hear you say that you realized I can't win. Some people consider going to jail or being in a challenging situation as just a part of life. Like, if this happens, it's supposed to happen this way. And they bought into this narrative and this paradigm like this is normal. It's normal to go to jail. It's normal to get shot. It's normal to have a chrome 38 millimeter pistol put to your head.
Yes.
And it's like, you said something that I find, first of all, is rare. Because most people, man, either get shot, they're dead. Look, I had 6 partners growing up, Southport. All of them were, well, I ain't gonna say fatherless. Their mother and fathers weren't together because some of them had their father still. They just wasn't a family unit, like a nuclear family.
Yes.
But they was living with their moms. I was the only one on the block who mom and daddy was still together.
Yes.
And I chose a street life. I didn't have to. My parents, like your mama, spoiled me, wanted to protect me, did everything to try to keep me from going outside. But I chose that life. And all of my partners, man, had felony records. I was the only one, although I did get caught up, I didn't have a felony record because I was a juvenile for the most part.
Yes.
And I think back on the fact that 2 of my partners, one of them got shot in the chest with a sawed-off shotgun, selling dope, skipping school, Jones High School. The other one got shot execution style in the back of the head, right there off of Crest Ridge, near MLK. Drugs. In and out of jail all the time, not really a father in their lives.
Yes.
And they chose the life because I talked to them about why they keep going hard in the paint the way they was going. And for them, they knew no other way. This was it. Sink or swim. And so I think it's an encouragement to hear someone say that they realized that they lost and it was losing. And it's got to be a better way. I got to go a different route. So,
and to piggyback on what you just said, once I found out that I was living under a generational curse, and if I continue to live under this generational curse, I was going to end up like my father. Once I realized that no matter what I was going to try to do, it wasn't going to work under this generational curse. That's what made it easy for me to change. When you have a curse on you, nothing that you try to do, you will succeed. So that's the main reason why, I had to walk away from it, because it was either stay in it, and die. I had a glimpse of my destiny. I tell people, man, I use this analogy. If you want to go to Dallas, and you take I-45 north, if you continue to drive I-45 north, you're going to reach Dallas. Although it might take, 3 to 4 hours. But eventually, you're going to get there. Mm-hmm. That's how it is, man. That's how it is in the street life. You might not get caught right then. Mm-hmm. Within that 1 hour of you driving, you're not going to reach Dallas. But if you continue to drive down I-45 north, you're bound to reach Dallas. You know what I'm saying? And once I saw a glimpse of my destiny, you know what I'm saying? I had to repent. Had to change my life.
So when you made that decision, because you was connected to partners, some of which you say you still are connected to, did you seek to give them the same revelation that you received and try to help them see a different path?
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm so glad you brought that up. You know, the word states, man, how many are called, but few are chosen. I like to say this: many are called, but only a few know their calling. I know my calling now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, you know, when we change, when we repent, you know what I'm saying? You know, we become this person that is not able to reach where we come from. You know what I'm saying? And at first that was me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have success, you know, in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Because I kind of, you know, was trying to be somebody else when God told me, be yourself. I didn't save you to be somebody else. I saved Chill Will. It's Chill Will that I can use to reach the domino players, you know, that's struggling, you know what I'm saying, that's not saved. It's Chill Will I can use to go to the prison ministry. It's Chill Will I can use to go back to the streets, you know. I can't use this other person you're trying to be. You know, I tell people all the time that there's a difference between your character and your personality. When I got saved, my character changed, but my personality is still the same. You know, so people might see me and say, you know, so many people, man, can relate to me. They can talk to me, you know what I'm saying, because I'm Chill Will. You know what I'm saying? I'm not better than you. You know, I'm not above you. You know, I tell people all the time, Jesus' ministry was so effective because he was able to relate to people. You know, he had a strong crowd, man, because he wasn't judgmental. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, you know, man, you still smoking weed, man? You still doing this? You know, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Now it's all about love. You know what I'm saying? It's love that's going to get people to change their life. You know what I'm saying? And not being judgmental.
Right, right. You know, it's interesting, man, because you know, I used to be in the hip hop game pretty heavy, and then, you know, when I gave my life to God, you know, I was going to churches. They was talking about how hip hop was the devil,
Absolutely,
how it was evil, and all this and that. And you know, I bought into that for a hot minute, but then I realized, man, to your point, you know, I know how to reach my people. I know how to reach those that I was reaching in a different way.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if you got a talent and skill, you know, God can use that to get his message across through that talent and that skill. Dominoes, like you say.
Yes.
God said he could use you to reach people through dominoes.
Yes.
But when I realized that, I started using my talent and skill to try to reach people through hip hop.
Yes, yes.
You know, and we ended up calling it street gospel.
Yes.
Because I couldn't call it like Christian rap or whatever, because it was whack to me at the time. The way they was painting the picture of how Christian, I mean, it was like real cornball to me.
Yes.
But when I realized that, I mean, we can really talk our slang, our lingo, and talk to people in a way that ain't judgmental, but also realizing that I'm you, you me. Ain't no difference. The only thing is I chose a different path, a different life.
Yes.
And I think that I'm really excited that we're having this conversation, because we have to live our truth and be able to speak that it's okay to pursue God and live for God and whatever shortcomings and all.
Yes.
But use our talents and our skills to try to encourage people to live a different way, go a different route.
Absolutely.
And of course, at the end of the day, it's like you said, the pastor got up, said, there's somebody here that God has called to surrender their life, and you chose not to.
Yes.
But 3 years or so later, you did.
Yes.
And you realize that you got to give people the grace
Yes.
to be able to redeem themselves.
Absolutely.
And just like in dominoes, you can make a mistake
Yes. Yes.
that could cost you a bunch of money.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But the game ends at, depending on where you're going, 150, 250,
yes.
whatever,
Yes.
you can still win
Absolutely.
if you make the right decisions and change the game.
Absolutely.
It can change for you.
Absolutely.
Speak on that.
Yes. Man, one of my favorite chapters, man, in the book is chapter 9. I talk about decisions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I talk about how dominoes is made up of plays. And in life, you know, is made up of decisions. The plays we make in dominoes is equivalent to the decisions we make in life. You know, so if we making bad plays in dominoes, you know, we shouldn't be surprised at the outcome.
Mm.
You know, we can't expect to be a winner at the end of the game if we're making bad plays during the course of the game. You know, so decisions, man. I talk about in the book, man, about the 4 different types of decisions we can make. Same with dominoes, 4 different plays that we can make in dominoes. You know, not every good play is the right play.
Mm. Explain that.
Okay. I was in a situation playing the other day, and playing Big 5, you know, might be a good play because it gets you 10, you know. But you don't want to play it because you think your opponent got 5 blank. But your opponent don't have 5 blank.
And you don't know that.
You don't know that.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't play Big 5 because you think your opponent got 5 blank. But in reality, Big 5 is the right play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tell people, man, not every good idea is the right idea. You know what I'm saying? Your good play could be the wrong play. Just because this idea come into your head to do something doesn't mean that that idea is for you. If that idea is going to take you off the right path, is it going to derail you from your destiny, then it's the wrong idea for you.
Mm. Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we lose in dominoes not because, you know, we make bad plays. It's because we did not make the right play.
Mm.
You know, a lot of us lose in life because we don't put the right people around us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of I even talk about marriage in the book. A lot of marriages fail because we do not marry the right person. You know, just because this person is good doesn't mean that person is right for you.
Mm.
You know, so it's a huge difference between good and right. You know, we have the ability to create the future that we want through the decisions that we make. I ask people, man, on my job site, you know, do you know where your future is hidden? They're like, nah. I said, let me tell you, your future is hidden in your decisions. The decisions that you make daily is going to create your future.
Yeah.
Your decisions. You know, and once I realize that I'm in this situation right now, not because my father died at the age of 6, when I was 6. But I'm in this situation right now because of my decisions
That you made.
that I made.
Nobody else.
Nobody else. You not pulling now from the boneyard because your opponent made a good play.
Mm-hmm.
You pulling now from the boneyard because of your bad play.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, absolutely, man.
You know what's interesting, man, is have you ever gotten in a situation, I know you have because you play a lot and I do, where you've gotten down so much
Yes.
because of whatever reason?
Yes.
Bad plays or just things wasn't going in your favor.
Yes.
And it's discouraging.
Oh, man.
Because you're down so much and
You're down
you
so
really have made up in your mind to a degree, I'm going to lose this game. So I might as well just give up.
I'm glad you brought that up because I talk about that in the book, you know, about perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's vitally important. Whatever is meant for you to have is not going to be easy. If it's easy, you know, then it's not meant for you. There's going to be times, man, that we're going to face obstacles in life. You know, there's going to be times that we're going to experience failure. You know, I like to look at perseverance like, you know, you carrying a glass bottle. You accidentally trip and the glass bottle falls. It shatters in little bitty pieces. So instead of you grabbing a broom and a dustpan and sweeping those pieces up and throwing it in the trash, you get one of those pieces and you start building your life again. That's how perseverance is. You know what I'm saying? When things go wrong, when you down by a large margin, you know what I'm saying? Don't look at the score, because the score is something temporary. The score is going to change. So I'm not going to look at the score. I'm going to continue to keep hope alive. A lot of us give up because when we look at the score, we think defeat. You know, if regardless of how bad I'm losing, if I can visualize myself winning, then I'm going to continue to make the good play. If I can visualize myself coming back, then I'm not going to take chances throughout the game. If I have faith that I can snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat, I'm going to continue to make the right plays despite the score.
Mm. That's what's up.
Yes.
So let's talk about, you mentioned about how active you are in the domino world, in the domino community. Talk about that.
Yes, man. Man, years ago, man, I'm on a job site, man, and got a partner of mine, man, close friend of mine. You know, we call him Just Look Like This.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his name is CJ. You know, brought him my attention, man. I always play dominoes, man. Brought him my attention, man. He say, man, you want to join a online team like that? I'm like, man, what you mean online team? Never heard anything like that. He said, yeah, man, you join an online team. So I got involved, man. You know, and one of the guys, man, who was overseeing the team, you know, he invited me to several groups, you know, in this online domino community.
Now, when you say online, explain what you mean by online. Like, are we talking about social media? Or
Yes,
what are we talking?
yes,
Okay, all right.
yes, social media, you know, Facebook groups and things like that,
okay.
you know. So when he invited me to different Facebook groups, man, domino pages, I was bothered by what I saw. You know, I saw a lot of disrespect and things like that. And I was about to, you know, exit out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, felt like it wasn't for me,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Then I heard, man, the Spirit of God say, don't leave. Okay, I'll stay. A few days later, CJ hit me up. Hey man, let's start our own. Let's start our own. So you know what? Let's do that, man. Let's do that. You know. So I took the keys and I took off with it. You know what I'm saying? Started Bone Crusher Elite, online domino organization. And man, it grew. Grew, man. Large, man, large. I done met so many people, including yourself. You know what I'm saying? From playing online dominoes, and while I'm playing in online dominoes, man, beating people like yourself, you know what I'm saying? God allowed me to realize something, that you're here for a reason. You're not here just to play dominoes. I didn't put you here, you know what I'm saying, just to win trophies. These people right here, I need to reach. And I need to reach those people through you. All God needs is a body, a willing vessel. You know what I'm saying? And because God has been so good to me, you know what I'm saying, I was obedient. And that's one of the main reasons why, the game of life, was birthed. Because he wanted me, he used CJ. If it wasn't for CJ telling me about this online dominoes, I never would have known, man.
Yeah.
Never.
Now speak to online dominoes. People hear that, they probably don't understand how massive this is.
Oh man, it's huge. It's huge.
It's international.
Oh man, hey, it's all over. Man, right now it's so many teams, 100 or more domino teams that play online. Las Vegas, players from Egypt, all over the world, celebrities, was playing in these online domino tournaments, man. It is huge, and I just thank God, man, that he allowed me to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for founding Bone Crushers Elite. I'm happy to be a member.
Yes, yeah.
Of BCE.
And it's not a coincidence. When I saw you and just checked out your demeanor, I said, man, it's something about him.
Yeah.
I said, it's something about him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I reached out to you, man. I say, man, I want you to be one of my captains.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On my teams, man. And man, you took it, man, and you ran with it, man, doing a great, fantastic job, man. Won championships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so exciting and fun. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time, you captain this team, and we're communicating. I had no idea that the music that you was part of is the music I was listening to, you know what I'm saying, back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to hear recently.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, that God put in me to choose you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, to help, man, have a successful, online, domino organization.
Yeah. Well, man, it was so interesting. Last night we had a council retreat, and during the icebreaker, the facilitator asked various questions, but the last one, what is your favorite hobby or thing of interest or passion? And I said, well, for me, it's online dominoes.
Yes.
And I talked about how passionate I am about it.
Yes.
And how engaged I am in. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life.
Yes.
A lot of balls that are in the air and things that I juggle, but that is, to me, a very therapeutic.
Oh, it is.
Situation.
It
helps
man.
Me to really deal with just stepping off the ledge for a minute, and stepping away from all of the things that are Although it could be pressure packed too.
Yes, yes,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes,
It could be pressure packed too.
yes.
When you talking about, because it's very competitive.
Very.
It's very competitive. This ain't just no. This ain't for the faint of heart.
Oh yeah.
It's real, but
yes.
but for me, it's therapeutic, and I couldn't have been more blessed to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to taking it beyond just online dominoes.
Absolutely.
You know, to your point, you know, you and I have met face to face, but there's so many players, including those on my team that I captain, that I mean, I have never formally met face to face.
Yes, yes.
And I believe as this grows, there's so many other ways in which we can empower the community.
Absolutely.
And do things to change the game.
And I'm gonna tell you this right here, man. When God gave me this revelation, it blew my mind. You know, I started thinking, I'm like, man, in most homes, especially, you know, in our homes, you know, we either have a Bible or some dominoes.
You know? Well, when you say our homes, it say black folks.
Yes, black folks. You know, we either have a Bible or some dominoes.
Yeah.
Many of us have both.
Mm.
You know, so when I got this revelation, man, and just start seeing how, you know, dominoes, man, in life is so similar. I'll give you a good example. Vision. In chapter 3, I talk about vision. You know, without a vision, people perish. That's what the wise man Solomon said. The word perish simply means to cast off restraint. It means to run wild. So if we don't have a vision for a life, we're going to pursue perishing paths. There's going to be nothing restraining us from making bad decisions. That's how it is in dominoes. When you get your hand, you got your opponent, you got your hand, regardless of the hand you pull and the opponent you facing, you got to have faith that you can win. Mm-hmm. Despite these doubles, despite how good you are, you got to have faith. Once you have faith, now you got to get this vision. If you do not have a vision after you grab your hand, there's going to be nothing restraining you from making bad plays during the course of the game. There's money out there. There's 20 points out there. You're not going to call that money because you have a vision of you dominoing. Mm-hmm. Because you have a vision of you dominoing, you're going to pass up that money. Because taking that money is going to put you in a bad situation.
Yeah.
That's how it is in life, man. Mm-hmm. You know, people give up on life. People start doing drugs, using drugs, pursuing the game life, you know, committing crimes because they don't have no mental picture of themselves being successful. If I got this, you know, just exercising, if you got a mental picture of you, you know what I'm saying, lovely form, whether you're a male or female, there are certain things you're not going to eat because you are disciplined, you know. So we can be disciplined in life and we can be disciplined in dominoes.
But they're all intertwined and we can learn a lot from both.
Absolutely.
Definitely dominoes. How can people check out the book, The Game of Life?
Yes. Man, you can go to Amazon. My book is available on Amazon. It's available on Barnes & Noble. It's available on Walmart.com, Target.com, Trilogy TV. Speaking of Trilogy, TBN, the world's largest Christian network, published this book. You know, you can even go to my website, you know, Hildreth Enterprise, you know, to purchase my book. You get your signed copy, you know, and
so I just want to reiterate what you just said. TBN, Trinity Broadcasting
Yes.
Network, the world's largest Christian network, actually published this book.
Yes, man. So one day, you know, I saw an ad on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? So by faith, you know, I sent my manuscript to TBN, you know, believing that, you know, that they would publish it, you know. So I talked to a person over the phone prior to them receiving the manuscript. The person who I talked to over the phone was head of the publishing company.
Mm.
And he asked me a question. He said, "What is your book about?" I said, "It's about life in dominoes." He said, "Wow." He said, "I play dominoes." So I started talking to him,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, how life and dominoes, you know what I'm saying, are very similar to one another, you know. And he like, "Man, send me this manuscript. I want to read it."
Yeah, and the rest is his.
Yes. So I sent the manuscript, man. His whole team, man, looked at it, read it, sent me an email, and say, "Hey, we want to publish this book."
That's what's up. That's
Yes.
what's up, man.
Yes.
I really appreciate you, Chill, for being on the show today. Again, how can what's the website for people to go to check out the book? I know they can pick it up the other places, but what's the direct website?
Yes, Hildreth Enterprise.
Can you spell that?
Yes, that's going to be Hildreth, Hildreth, Enterprise, ENTERPRISE.com. Go to my website, homepage, order the book. I will sign it for you and send it to you.
All right, man. Listen, I appreciate you for being on, man.
Yes,
Definitely
yes.
won't be the last time.
Yes.
That'll do it, y'all. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and I definitely want you to have a Happy Kwanzaa and a Happy New Year, y'all. See you on the other side, 2023. Peace, y'all.